Oh, hello there, everyone. Good afternoon. Thank you all so much for joining us here at Amtrak Vacations on our feature on Famous and Iconic Routes Series Part 1. So, thank you all again for joining. Looks like we have a full house here. Let me take a second to introduce myself. I'm your host. My name is Giovanni Guaba. I have been with Amtrak Vacations for closing in on 2 years now on the product development team. So actually, I take in part in creating a lot of the itineraries that we're going to go over here. So pretty excited to be your host today, this afternoon. Definitely stay tuned as we do have exclusive discount offers for any attendees live on this presentation today. Also, one lucky person will win a $100 Amtrak Vacations gift card. So definitely stay tuned. Definitely stay tuned. Uh, quick little reminder here. Don't forget to download your handout. If you see on your box there, there should be a drop down that says handouts. Definitely take a look at those, download that, and review that. Also, if you have any questions, there's also a questions drop down box. Just place your question in there, hit enter, and I will have hopefully some time at the end of the presentation to go over any of those questions. But let's get started. So why Amtrak Vacations? There are many reasons why Amtrak Vacation should be considered on your next travel plans. We actually did a recent survey on past travelers and people looking to book with Amtrak Vacations, as well as current passengers booked for future travel or travel that's coming up. And these are the top six. So it's a list experience, meaning there's a chance to see a lot of the country that you will not have a chance to see when flying to your destination or even driving. So getting to see what the country has to offer on the way to the destination you're looking to go to is definitely a high point of an Amtrak vacation uh, package or getaway. There's room to roam. So when traveling on Amtrak, you do have that ability to get up and sort of walk around and explore the train. There's access to the lounge car, observation car, where you can, it's open seating, so you could sit freely and enjoy the scenery as it goes by on your way to your destination. So you don't have to worry about like on an airplane where you have that seat belt laid on. No, you have that ability to just get up and sort of walk around. Less hassle. So with by less hassle, it's a couple of things. To get when you have an accommodation booked with Amtrak, it's not like you have to be there 2 hours or 3 hours earlier if you're going somewhere. No, about 30 to 45 minutes prior to your departure, you can get there and get yourself checked in and everything. It's a very easy process. Also, just sit back, relax while somebody else takes the wheel and brings you to your destination. And the seating and accommodations are very comfortable on Amtrak, so it's a great way to get from point A to point B on your vacation. City to city service, we've heard a lot that it is a great way to get to where you're going, whether it's a vacation or just an alternative way to as transportation. So going to a key destination that you've always wanted to go to, you could see what's on the way while you're with Amtrak. Take that road that's less traveled. Satisfy your hunger. So got a lot of feedback on how great the food is on board. So it's not like one of those things where you're going to hear the jokes. What's up with airplane food? No, the meals on Amtrak are delicious. They're great options. And the flexibility. Most, if not all, of the trains depart daily, and some trains also have multiple departures daily. So definitely an easy way to plan your vacation with that flexibility. And here's a nice map showing where Amtrak goes. So you can see the detailed map sort of going cross country, a lot of them arriving or departing from Chicago as it is the national hub. But you can see a lot of those long distance trains starting from there going towards a Seattle, Portland, or a San Francisco, Los Angeles, et cetera, et cetera. Also notice how it does cross into the border or into Canada across the border You would need a passport for that, but Amtrak does cross that border, and you can continue your rail vacation in Canada on their service of Via Rail, which is pretty exciting as well. Where can I start my rail vacation? So, what's great is that our packages, getaways, anything that we can put together for you is customizable. So, wherever there's an Amtrak station near you, we can get that package started there or ended there if you wanted to do it as a round trip or a way to just end a vacation. So definitely you could choose between the 500 plus Amtrak stations, end or start or do both if you wanted to fly to the destination and then take the rail back or vice versa. Totally doable. You can call one of our agents and get the details on that, or even call your local travel agent and get the details on how to make that happen. But definitely a lot of flexibility, and you're able to customize these vacation packages. So this picture I really like. So we're gonna pretend we're in one of those cars as the driver. Take a look to the left, take a look to the right, and just imagine that scenery, right? Now let's do the same here. It's a great alternative if you don't like to fly, but also just to be able to sit in the train and relax and take in the gorgeous scenery that the country has to offer. In this particular picture, you have the vistas of the ocean, you have the landscapes. It's truly mesmerizing. Another picture that sort of depicts the same idea. If you're on an airplane, clouds look the same everywhere. And then traveling from the variety, the many options of destinations where there's an Amtrak station, you're going to get a different vista on your way to almost any other destination, whether it's going to be the vistas of the Pacific Ocean in the west or city landscapes, even mountains and glaciers, depending on where you're going. It's just absolutely amazing. Here are the different travel styles we offer. So, firstly, independent rail journeys. So, a lot of these are going to include multiple key destinations and cities, even national parks, where we'll bundle those together with the rail as the transportation. Then you have rail experiences, which are more geared towards that rail portion within that package. So those long distance trains with shorter stops in key destinations or national parks or anything like that. But a lot of it is more geared towards that long distance train travel so you can experience that train. Rail getaways are going to be shorter little city getaways, so one destination, 2 or 3 nights, and then we can put together the round trip Amtrak rail portion as the mode of transportation to get to that particular destination. And we have that option with many different destinations around North America. Rail and sail is where we'll combine that rail transportation and those destinations with a cruise. So those itineraries are very popular and very exciting. So if you're looking to do a cruise soon, definitely give us a call your local travel agent, and look into those options. They're really neat. And then, of course, custom rail journeys. If there's something that you've been looking into that you wanted to do, and it definitely looks appealing and possible with Amtrak, give us a call. One of our agents would be more than excited to help you put that vacation together for you. So, all aboard, right? Let's get right into these itineraries. Firstly, let's go over. So, again, a lot of the more popular sites, so those are going to be the national parks and even key destinations such as like a San Francisco or Seattle, New York City. But this picture is great. This slide is great because it shows you that scenery you'll see in the national parks, especially where we have the space and the lodges right within the park or literally right outside. So Glacier National Park Express. Now, this is a great itinerary, very popular. It's a seasonal one because of Glacier National Park. It's only open during those summer months, but again, still very, very popular. So this one will start in Chicago, where you'll do a couple nights with some sightseeing, and then you'll hop aboard the Empire Builder. Now, the Empire Builder is a very scenic train route offered by Amtrak, where you're going through the plains of North Dakota, Glacier National Park, of course, so the mountains and glaciers you'll have a chance to see on your way there, and then continuing on to Seattle through the Cascade Mountains. But so in Chicago, you'll have a chance to sightsee, and then even in Glacier National Park, will include sort of the premier tour of Glacier National Park is the Big Sky Circle tour, as well as a Two Medicine Valley boat cruise. So on that Big Sky Circle tour in Glacier National Park, it'll take you to great points like Goat Lick, which is very popular for wildlife spotting. Going to the Sun Road, which is that famous road that sort of wraps around that mountain range. It'll take you to Logan Pass, which is that highest point of that going to the Sun Road. You'll get to tour Grand Cedar and Hemlock Forests. What else? And an optional lunch at the historic Lake McDonald Lodge. So of course it's optional if you're not really hungry or you're not looking to eat, you just sort of want to explore. That lodge is extremely beautiful and very historic, so you'll be able to take some time to look into that. And then continuing on the Empire Builder back to or down to Seattle, crossing those beautiful Cascade Mountains, and then some sightseeing in Seattle. So Glacier National Park Express is a 10-day vacation starting from $23.99. So that price is based on double occupancy and in coach accommodations on the train, but that upgrade is available if you want to do a sleeper accommodation on those train routes. So if you wanted to do the roomette or the bedroom, and I'll get into those sleeper accommodations or all the accommodations on the train later on in the presentation. But just $23.99, you're seeing one of the more popular national parks the US has to offer, as well as two great cities in Chicago and Seattle. Then we have Yellowstone to Yosemite by rail. And this one is extremely popular, and that is going to be because of that California Zephyr train route by Amtrak. So starting in Chicago, you do a couple nights there as well with some sightseeing in Chicago. Then you'll hop aboard that California Zephyr train route. Again, very, very popular and arguably the most scenic one. Reason being, it covers just a lot of the most beautiful landscape you'll see in the US. So it'll cut through the Colorado Rocky Mountains, Glenwood Canyon, Colorado River, the Utah Desert, as well as the High Sierras. So just a lot to see on that route. And then upon arriving into Salt Lake City, do a couple nights there with some sightseeing. But we use Salt Lake City sort of as the gateway to Yellowstone because Amtrak does not go into Yellowstone National Park. So we'll include a scenic transfer up to West Yellowstone where you'll do a couple nights with a sightseeing tour of the park. Now that sightseeing tour will actually pick you up right at your hotel accommodations in West Yellowstone. You'll go into the park and tour the lower loop. Now the lower loop will take you to a lot of the hot spots available at the park. You'll see a lot of what everybody wants to see when they go to Yellowstone National Park, that featuring Old Faithful Geyser. And that is the most predictable geyser. They know when that's going to erupt almost to the T. So this tour, a lot of times they'll gear that around what time that particular geyser is going to erupt. That way anybody partaking on the tour will have a chance to see that. But it'll also pass through Hayden Valley, which is very, very popular for spotting wildlife, and as well as the Grand Canyon of Yellowstone and Gibbon Falls are stops. We also offer the Upper Loop tour. So again, these being totally customizable if you wanted to add a night in West Yellowstone and then add that tour, totally doable. So again, based on what you want to see, we can tweak these packages. They're totally customizable. So definitely let your agent or travel agent know if you wanted to do that. Again, that sightseeing tour of Salt Lake City will be included as well. And then upon leaving Salt Lake City and boarding that California Zephyr, down to San Francisco will also include a Yosemite National Park tour. So that tour will be a full day tour out of San Francisco. So it'll be a scenic transfer out to the park, going through the Joaquin Valley, Uh, and upon arrival, you'll actually have a guided tour with the driver and also some free time at the park as well to explore and see sort of sites that you want to see if you've done a little bit of research and you know what you want to see. As long as, of course, time permitting, you'll have that chance with that free time. So Yellowstone to Yosemite by rail. So this is an 11-day vacation. You're going to see great cities in Chicago, Salt Lake City, and San Francisco, two national parks, starting from just 22.49. So that's absolutely fantastic. Absolutely amazing. America's national parks. So this is another very popular one, of course, because it does include that California Zephyr route that a lot of people ask for, as well as actually four national parks. So it'll start in Denver, where we'll do a couple nights there with a sightseeing tour of the Denver Rocky Mountains. And that'll take you to a lot of the hot spots. You'll get a chance to see the mountains, the landscapes, the some wildlife spotting, truly amazing. Then, upon leaving Denver, you head towards Grand Junction, where you'll have a sightseeing tour of Arches and Canyonlands National Parks. So that's two more national parks within 4 or 5 days. So a great tour that'll pick you up right from your hotel in Grand Junction and take you to see those two parks, and actually a bonus park in Dead Horse Point State Park, which is a great addition to the itinerary. So three national parks and a state park in those 4 or 5 days. And then you'll hop back aboard that California Zephyr and head towards Salt Lake City. Again, the gateway to Yellowstone. So you'll do that scenic transfer up to West Yellowstone, where you'll do a couple nights in that lower loop tour to see those hot spots in Old Faithful Geyser, Hayden Valley, Gibbon Falls, Grand Canyon of Yellowstone. So America's national parks, the 9-day itinerary starts in Denver. You get to see Grand Junction, Arches and Canyonlands, the Denver Rocky Mountains, Salt Lake City, Yellowstone National Park. So this one starts in Denver, ends in Salt Lake City. But again, if you wanted to add rail from the closest station to you or from a different particular point, totally doable, and we can uh, add those rail portions at the beginning or at the end of your trip. And this one starting from 18.49 per person. Truly amazing itinerary. That one is one of my personal favorites. Rails to the Grand Canyon. Now this is a nice one because it's a shorter one. So you're doing 2 nights on the train at the beginning and at the end, with 2 nights right in the Grand Canyon. So weirdly enough, I haven't mentioned the Grand Canyon, it being one of the more popular ones, but this one is truly fantastic. So you start in Los Angeles. So we're starting from the west in this particular case, and you'll hop aboard that Southwest Chief. So on the Southwest Chief, you'll have a chance to see the Red Rocks and desert on your way to Williams, which is that gateway to the Grand Canyon. And upon arrival into Williams, you'll have a chance to hop aboard that Grand Canyon Railway train. So it's that old-fashioned like steam engine style train that goes right into the South Rim. Upon arrival into the South Rim, you'll be treated to a tour where it takes you to a lot of those great viewpoints that the Grand Canyon has to offer. You'll do a couple nights there before heading back to Los Angeles via the Southwest Chief. So this particular one, nice short itinerary. You'll get to experience Amtrak and an overnight experience. You'll get to ride on the Grand Canyon Railway iconic train, as well as see the Grand Canyon and the South Rim. Absolutely amazing. Now, this bad boy, you'll get to see a lot. As you can see by the map, it's a little overwhelming, but we're going to start in Chicago and hop aboard arguably the most scenic and iconic train in the California Zephyr on your way to Salt Lake City. Again, the gateway to Yellowstone. So we do that transfer, do the tour in Yellowstone, hop back aboard that California Zephyr on your way to San Francisco, do the day tour of Yosemite National Park. Then you'll hop aboard the Coast Starlight, which is another very scenic route with vistas of the Pacific Ocean along the way. Arrive into Los Angeles with some sightseeing in Los Angeles and an overnight there before you hop aboard the Southwest Chief and do the Grand Canyon Railway up to the South Rim with the tour, and then back to the Southwest Chief and back to Chicago. So great itinerary. You get to experience this, the California Zephyr, the Southwest Chief, and the Coast Starlight. So three Amtrak routes that are very scenic, some of the more popular ones, as well as that Grand Canyon Railway train. So a lot to experience just by transportation wise. It's truly remarkable. In Yellowstone National Park, of course, you'll have that chance to do some sightseeing with the included lower loop tour, that sightseeing tour of Yosemite from San Francisco, and then the round trip service on the Grand Canyon Railway and the Freedom Rim tour of the Grand Canyon South Rim. And then included with the Grand Canyon is the coach accommodations on the Grand Canyon Railway. Of course, upgrades are available. If you wanted to do like first class or observation dome or luxury parlor class, those are available. So definitely let the agent or your travel agent know that that's what you're looking to do if that's something that's of interest. Grand National Parks with Yellowstone, Yosemite, and the Grand Canyon. So this is a 13-day itinerary starting from 2749. You really can't beat that. You're seeing great cities in Chicago, Salt Lake City, San Francisco, Los Angeles, um, as well as national parks at Yellowstone, Yosemite, the Grand Canyon. The Grand Canyon Railway itself is something to be amazed by on this particular itinerary. So all these things together for just 2749 is amazing. National Parks of the Southwest, Grand Canyon and beyond. Now, these itineraries, there's multiple variations of it, but these are brand spanking new. They're about a month old, I want to say, but something definitely to go over as you'll see a lot of national parks and then a lot of the famous routes that Amtrak has to offer as well. So this one starts in Los Angeles. You'll start by boarding that Southwest Chief towards Williams, where you'll take that Grand Canyon Railway train up to the Grand Canyon South Rim. You'll have that Freedom Rim tour here as well, do the overnight. Now, the next morning, you'll be picked up in the South Rim by your next tour slash transfer service. So with this tour, you'll be picked up by your driver and tour guide in sort of like an SUV, a luxury SUV, and for the next couple days serve as your transfer and tour guide on your way to these next parks. So on your way to Springdale, that next day you'll see Lake Powell and Zion National Park. Zion National Park being very comparable to like a Yellowstone in what you'll see in terms of like wildlife, the wilderness, the mountains, and the landscapes. Truly remarkable. Red Rock and Desert Galore on board the Southwest Chief. So on your way to Williams, you'll get to experience that. Now, Lake Powell, a sight to see in itself. So it's a reservoir on the Colorado River, surrounded by the Red Rock Formation there. This picture is a picture of the Glen Canyon Dam within Lake Powell. So you'll have a chance to see that and sort of tour that on your way to Springdale after passing through Zion as well. And in Zion National Park, like I mentioned, you'll have a chance to see sort of the wilderness, the landscapes and stuff. But what's great about the tour that takes you through these after picking you up in the Grand Canyon is that they're very accommodating in what you want to see. So if you do your research and you let your driver know that this is what you want to see at this park or on your way to this park after doing some research, they're very accommodating in that. What's great is that anybody you're sharing that vehicle with will be an Amtrak Vacations passenger as well. These are exclusive for Amtrak Vacations. So when you're on the tour from the Grand Canyon to Lake Powell, Zion, Bryce, and Capitol Reef on this particular itinerary, it is with that driver slash tour guide that is doing the tour for Amtrak Vacations. It's really nice. So after arriving into Springdale, you'll do your overnight, and then that same driver will pick you up, and your tour guide will pick you up and you'll continue towards Grand Junction, where you'll stop and tour Bryce Canyon and Capitol Reef National Parks. Now, this backdrop is gorgeous. This is a picture of Bryce Canyon and its famous hoodoo rock formations. So this is sort of a irregular eroded rock that sort of look like people standing up next to each other, and that's exactly what Bryce Canyon is famous for, and that's what attracts over 1 million travelers a year to this national park. So national parks of the Southwest, Grand Canyon and beyond, 7-day itinerary. You're going to see multiple national parks, great ones in Zion, Bryce Canyon, the Grand Canyon, Capitol Reef, as well as multiple train routes in from Los Angeles to Williams. You'll be on the Southwest Chief. From Grand Junction to San Francisco, you'll be on the California Zephyr. And then from San Francisco back to Los Angeles, you get to experience the Coast Starlight. And this one is just starting from $21.99. Not bad at all. And I will mention that there are variations of this package. There is an extended version that'll do an extra night in Grand Junction that'll add Arches and Canyonlands national parks as well. So adding 2 more national parks to this itinerary with just 1 extra day, truly phenomenal. And that'll lead me to our getaways. What's great about our getaways is that not much planning needs involved in this. So if you're looking to do something real quick, it's sort of last minute or even maybe next month or the next couple months, a getaway with the rail sort of attached to it at the beginning and end to get back to your hometown or wherever you're coming from. These are great options. So a lot of the getaways or ultimate getaways will be 3 or 4 days, so 2 nights or 3 nights in the destination with sightseeing included. So for example, you have New Orleans Ultimate Getaway. It'll include the famous Swamp and Bayou tour or other options, whatever you're looking to do, with dinner at a popular local restaurant, and even the New Orleans Pass, which includes a lot of different attractions that are very famous to the destination. And then what's nice about these ones is depending on where you're coming from, you'll get to experience different train routes. So New Orleans, for example, if you're coming from the east, you'll hop aboard Amtrak's Crescent, or if you're coming from Chicago, you'll hop aboard the City of New Orleans, or even from the west on the Sunset Limited. So a lot of options there and a lot of sights to see on your way just to the destination. So same idea with like the New York City Ultimate Getaway, depending on where you're coming from. So if you're coming from close by, you could do the Northeast Regional train, or even if you're coming from the far west, depending where you are, you can do the long distance trains to Chicago and connect to New York City. So great options on doing these getaways. So just to see a few of those options there. So another one, Washington, D.C. Ultimate Getaway, San Francisco Ultimate Getaway. A lot of options you have there. In Seattle as well. So if you're coming from the west, south of Seattle, you'll have a chance to do the Coast Starlight. If you're coming from Chicago, you'll do that Empire Builder that'll go through Glacier National Park as well as the plains of North Dakota, so on and so forth. Just beautiful sights on your way to the destination you want to see with sightseeing there as well. And it's not only these famous cities, so we do getaways to the national parks as well. So this is a great example of that. So we have an Arches and Canyonlands getaway that'll do 2 nights in Grand Junction with the sightseeing tour of Arches and Canyonlands National Parks, with the bonus of the Dead Horse Point State Park. And this one will feature, if you're doing that round trip or if you want to do a portion on rail, it's going to be on that California Zephyr route, which I mentioned before is arguably the most scenic route Amtrak has to offer. So as I promised, was going to go over some of the train accommodations and how to pack for the train. And this is actually one of my favorite features of Amtrak. Funny enough, passengers are allowed 2 free carry-on bags as well as 2 checked bags. So one more time, 2 free carry-on bags as well as 2 checked bags. So it's not a case like when you're flying with an airlines and they allow you maybe 1 carry-on and a personal item, and then you got to pay for your checked luggage. Now with Amtrak, you're allowed those 2 free carry-on bags as well as 2 check bags, which is very convenient. And you can pack, you don't have to pack lightly if you want to bring certain things, you have that option. So onboard accommodations. So we'll start with coach accommodations. So just want to point out, look at all that leg space. So the seats are very comfortable. They recline. You have the leg space. It's not a tight spot at all. There's no middle seats. You have sort of the storage and luggage compartments within those accommodations as well. And with coach, you still have access to the dining car or the cafe car, of course, with purchasing the items. And you have access to the sightseeing lounge car as well, even if you're in coach, which is really nice. Then you have sleeper accommodations. We'll start up with the lead-in accommodation, which is the most affordable of the options, is the roomette. Now, these are going to be 2 seats facing each other during the day with a fold-down table in between. Now, at night, when you're ready to retire and go to sleep, those seats will fold down to be the bottom bunk, and then there's a top bunk that'll come right down. It'll sleep 2. And with the sleeper accommodations, meals are included. So in that dining car, your meals will be included depending on the times you're on that train. So if you're there for breakfast, lunch, dinner, those will be included with your accommodations. And with the sleepers, you do have access to the washrooms and bathrooms and showers, which will be right down the hall, sort of like in your own home. And you'll share those facilities with anybody in the same car, not everybody on the train, but just everybody on the same car as you that has a roomette or a bedroom. Which leads me to the bedroom. What's included? So again, it's those bunk style rooms, but with the bedroom, you'll have your private bathroom and shower, which is really nice. So if you did want a private facility washroom, then the bedroom is the way to go. Meals are included here as well. And again, dining on the train, even coach will have access to the dining car, but again, it's not included like if you got a room, a sleeping accommodation. So breakfast, lunch, dinner. So for dinner, you can have the Amtrak signature steak, which is fantastic. I've had it myself. There's burger options, sandwiches, salads, desserts, um, a lot to choose from. Now, of course, visit amtrakvacations.com. Very easy to navigate. So my favorite way to do it is if you go to the destinations drop down. There's plenty of different ways to sort of access the different destinations we offer, but I find it the most easiest to just do that destination, find the one you want to go to, and see all the packages that is included within that destination. How to book? Of course, give us a call, 1-800-268-7252. Any of our agents would be more than happy to help. Visit the website or call your local travel agent. Some everyday discounts include senior discounts, which would be 10% off the rail portion of the package. Same thing with the military discount. And then children 2 to 12 receive a 50% discount on the rail portion of an Amtrak vacation. And like I promised earlier, anybody attending the live presentation will receive a voucher of $100 off any upgrade to a sleeper accommodation on one of our packages. So if you upgrade to sleeper accommodations on one of our packages, you will receive $100 off, so $50 per person. Valid until September 12th of this year. So definitely book by then. Plenty of options I went over today, but if you visit the website or call in and let them know what you're looking for, our agents will be more than happy to help. Or again, call your local travel agent and they'd be more than happy to assist you as well. And if you haven't done so already, the handouts, just download that, review that. If you have any questions, you have the questions drop down, place those in. I'll take a few minutes to go through some of those questions right at the end. We're nearing the end of the presentation. So thank you again for joining. have a winner to announce, and the winner is Tim Burnaby. Congratulations, Tim. You are the winner of the $100 Amtrak Vacations gift card. So now I will be answering some questions. So if you have any questions, use that drop down box and type away. So Jeff asked, how many hours on the train from Chicago to Glacier National Park? So from Chicago to Glacier will be an overnight on the train. I believe that train departs around 3 p.m. and arrives into Glacier National Park the next afternoon. So the next day in the early evening or afternoon. So it's a very nice ride through the plains of the Dakotas as well as into Glacier National Park. Scott asks, can we book El Tovar in the Grand Canyon? It's a very popular hotel. If yes, how early does that have to happen, if at all? So, yeah, the El Tovar is a highly demanded hotel in the Grand Canyon. Gorgeous property that we do offer. But of course, because it's in high demand, it is very difficult to get. So we always recommend that if you are looking to do El Tovar, that you book months and months in advance to make sure you can grab that space there. Okay, so any other questions? I'm having a little difficulty here. Okay, so Sally asks, does senior discount count toward a roomette or bedroom? The answer is yes. So that rail portion discount would be applied, depending, of course, on whether or not it is coach or a roomette or bedroom. But yeah, that discount can be applied towards a sleeping accommodation. Are the trains wheelchair accessible? So yes, of course they are accessible. So there are, if you were looking for a sleeper accommodation, there's an accessible room that's available, very limited on the different train cars, but they are available. Lone asks, what are prices for a sleeper? So there isn't a very definitive answer for that. The sleeper accommodations will vary depending the time of year you're going, when you're booking, where you're going. And of course, it is live pricing on the train. So depending on how many are available, depends on the different price buckets. So the best answer I could provide is if you have a particular time you're looking to go, give us a call and one of our agents would be more than happy to give you sort of a range of the price on when you're going or where you're going. Can you use your Amtrak guest rewards towards Amtrak vacations? The answer is yes. It would only be for the rail portion of the vacation, but we can certainly take your guest rewards number and get that applied to that rail portion. So yes. Okay. So Morris is doing the Santa Barbara getaway. How do I add my station location to the package? So great question. If you already have that all set, you can give us a call and speak to one of our agents, and they can get you over to one of our specialists that can sort of add the rail from your hometown or the closest station nearest to you. But we can certainly get that added to the vacation, of course, based on availability, depending on where you're going or when you're going. I'm sorry. Is it cheaper to book sooner than later? Yes, because of the live pricing and based on like allocations and availability. I definitely recommend booking sooner rather than later. A lot of times, or most of the times, it's going to be you're going to find it a lot cheaper to book a vacation package with the different components um, based on doing like a last minute where it is live pricing on the train, so that can certainly increase any of the cost. Are there sleepers for larger families? So there is a family bedroom, but it's not anything too big. I believe it fits so two adults and maybe two small children, but that's as big as the bedrooms would go. Multiple bedrooms or multiple roomettes might be the more accommodating option. How often are there training sessions offered? So we try to do these presentations very frequently, I believe every couple weeks. If you're interested in a particular presentation or want to know when we're doing a certain feature, definitely give us a call. We can get you in touch with the right department to find out when there's going to be a feature on that to get you registered for that particular presentation. But it looks like we're out of time. I want to thank you all again for joining. If I didn't get a chance to answer your question, please feel free to give us a call and or call your local travel agent, and we'll be more than happy to address or answer any of your questions. But again, thank you so much for joining, and I look forward to hearing from you or seeing you, your friends, or your family on an Amtrak vacation. Thank you again, and take care.